Hello and welcome to Mic Drop Monday with Elisa, LaShell, the Empowerment Specialist. I'm so excited about Monday night, as I always am. So what I'm going to do, as I always do, is give everybody an opportunity to join me live for another segment of Mic Drop Monday. It is going to be all the way live tonight. I'm so excited for you guys to join me. I'm so excited about what we're going to be dealing with tonight. I believe it's going to be off the chain. And I know I say this every single time, but we're really getting down to some nitty gritty stuff tonight. All this month, I think I've just been off the chain with a lot of these very introspective subjects all month long. Hey, Nina. And so I am literally so excited. Hey, Laverne, to get in here tonight because we're really going to be dealing with a subject that I believe is one that a lot of people don't talk about. Carlencia, hey dear. And so tonight, I'm telling you, you want to go ahead, hey Kimberly, and get everybody on. Go ahead and start sharing early because they're going to want to get in on this conversation on the front end because I'm going to be dropping the mics from the beginning all the way in. So I'm telling you guys, little Chelsea King, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited about tonight. We're going to be dealing again here, and we did that last week. We start asking a question. Hey, Arzella, is it a them? Is it a he? Is it a she? Is it a them? Or is it me? Hey, Aisha. And tonight, we're just going to have to go for the juggler. Tonight, we are just going to deal with the is it me? Oh, it's me. We're dealing with the me issues tonight. And so, hey, Nancy. And so I am so excited to have you guys. Tonight is so powerful. And I know, Tanya Reese, thank you so much for joining. I know that it's powerful because something happened that hadn't happened in a while. Linda Lee's in the house. Thank you and welcome. Tonight, everything started trying to fall apart. Hey, Kendra, when I got ready for Mic Drop Monday. And that hasn't happened in a while. So I just started saying, whoa, wait a minute. It is going to be on fire tonight. Hey, Arlisha, this must really be a subject that everybody needs to hear about. Hey, Teresa, because I'm talking about my printer went out of paper. All of a sudden, I bought a new pad. Couldn't find it anywhere. Hey, Sharon. I mean, the internet started acting up. I'm just talking about everything just start going left. My sis Shauna is on. Hey, Shauna. And so I knew when things start kind of going left, I said, uh-oh. Hey, Erica, welcome, love. Thank you for being here. I said, uh-oh, this must be something that we need to deal with. Hey, Dorothy, tonight. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take just a second because I believe it is so important. Hey, Eric, that we get our people on. We deal with things on the inside of us. And sometimes, hey, Tranisha, sometimes we're not really able, hey, Tanya, to articulate it to the people that we know. Sometimes we're not really able to be transparent with certain people. Hey, Jeff, because of how they may respond, because they might not respond the correct way. Hey, Tina, and because they might judge us. But a lot of times we have some issues on the inside. We are going through an identity crisis and people don't even know. And we're sitting here and we're having these issues. Hey, Katrina, and we're not even sure why. And we don't have a person to really talk to us about it. Hey, Teresa, and a person that we can really just say, listen, I have some issues going on here. Hey, let's see who we got. Tanika, hello and welcome. Thank you guys. I'm so I'm appreciative for you guys for joining. Makiba, hey, thank you for joining and welcome. So listen, before I get excited, because y'all already know I'm ready to go in. Hey, Angel, I need everybody to do what I'm getting ready to do. Hey, Wanda, and I am getting ready to share. Because again, I just believe, I'm just under the impression, hey Tony, that tonight is going to be off the chain. I believe tonight, hey Sheila, is really going to be one of those things that break some strongholds, some ideas that we had about ourselves, our lives, some impressions that we had about why we do what we do. You'd be surprised where they really come from. Hey Monique, hey Barbara, bless you guys. I'm so appreciative for you guys coming. We'll be very surprised about why we're having identity crisis. Hey, Tamika. And so I'm telling you guys, you want to have a Mic Drop Monday. It's going down tonight. So everybody do what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to tell everybody to join us live now. I have a couple of pages I'm going to share it with. I hope you guys are sharing it on your page because again, hey, Sharon, this is one of those conversations that people want to have, need to have, but are unable to have. Because again, everybody seems sometimes to act like they're good, they're okay. Hi, Centrez. Everybody seems to kind of want to act like they don't have any issues. Hey, Lakeitha, and hey, Carolyn. And so we've got to get to a place where we're able to have these conversations and say, look, let me just be real about this thing. Hey, Elizabeth, I think I might be in an identity crisis. And so tonight we're going to see Are we in an identity crisis? Hey, Miss Juanita, thank you so much for joining. And so it's one of those situations where, like I said, last week, we had to look around us. We had to look in our circle. We had to try to figure out. Now, let me worry. We talked about growth stunters last week. Hey, Jennifer. And we looked around last week and I told you about growth stunters. And that video is now on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, hey, dear, you can go and subscribe and watch the replay on there. But listen, last week we dealt with growth stunters. And last week I told you guys to ask the question, is it a he, is it a she, is it them, or is it me? And so Marianne Gully is in the house. Hey, love, miss you so much. And so tonight, though, we're not even going to look on the outside. Coco, hey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me live. Tonight, we're not even trying to look at anybody else. We're trying to deal with us. And you already know that I believe that you can't fix what you won't face. And so tonight, we're going to look in the mirror and we're going to face some issues and find out why the real us is struggling to show up. Yeah, we know we feel like we're present in life. We know we feel like, listen, I'm always there when the people need me. And you know, I haven't thrown in the towel yet. But is the person showing up the real you? Hey, Elisa, is it the real you that's showing up? Because it is time for you to show up for you. Can I tell you? Thank you for sharing, Chelsea. It is time. Hey, Sandra, Moultrie, Georgia is in the house for you to show up for you. Hey, Crystal. And so we're going to deal with tonight. We're always showing up for everybody else. But can I tell you, a lot of times we're showing up as whoever they need us to be. But tonight, mask off. Tonight, we're going to get to the root. Y'all know I love to trace the tree. So tonight, hey, Dorothy, we're tracing the tree and we're going to get to the root of who in the world am I? Because I believe that before you can go into what you were purpose to do, you got to first, you want to uncover everybody. We want to uncover our purpose. We absolutely want to know what we're here to do. But listen, before we can uncover our purpose, we got to discover who we really are. Yeah, who am I? That's right, Kendra. That's right, Makiva. We got to show up. And so we have to ask the question, before I can know what I'm supposed to do, I need to know who in the world I am. Hey, Nicole, she called me the world changer. Listen, I'm trying to do it. And listen, you guys help me change the world by hitting the share button, because you never know who needs to hear this. As a matter of fact, I have one more page that I am getting ready to tell us to join live. Listen, y'all, join us and tag your people if you know somebody that is ready, that needs to hear this, that you know is struggling. It might be your daughters. It might be your sons. It might be yourself. Hey, Esther. And you're saying, listen, this is a conversation that I'm not able to have with mama. My friend Kawan Bidi, hey Boop, is in the house. And so this is not a conversation we're always able to have with certain people. It's not a conversation that we're comfortable exposing. And so what I want to do is get to the root of the issue. Thank you so much, Angel. I appreciate you. That's right, Tina. You already know I am real, I am raw, and I am relevant. That's why I hope you guys are sharing and getting your people on. Even if you don't share it on your page, listen, tag somebody. Put their names in if you know that they would love or benefit from this conversation, or you can put it in their inbox, because I guarantee you at some point in our life, if we're not right now, we're going through an identity crisis. Oh, we're trying to figure some things out. Listen, I'm at a place where some things should be happening in my life. I'm at a place where I'm tired of going in these same cycles. I'm at a place where I'm ready to burst out. My friend Kwami's been talking about shifting. I'm at a place where I'm ready to shift. I'm not happy with necessarily. I don't want to go back to who I was, and I'm not necessarily okay with where I am, but I know there's somewhere I gotta be. It's time for me to shift. And before I can shift, though, I need to understand, what am I shifting to? So we're asking some hard questions tonight. I'm really gonna get a little philosophical with you guys tonight, and I'm gonna uncover some profound truth that I believe is really gonna hit a reset button in your life. So if you are ready to shift, somebody should type that in the comments. I'm ready to shift, because that's what we're doing tonight. We're ready to shift. We're saying, listen, I'm thankful for where I was, but I'm excited about where I'm getting ready to be. And so we're saying, I'm not going to be content. I'm not going to sit in a place of complacency, sitting here in this place saying, you know, I'm just going to wing it. I told y'all, you can't wing it and win. And so sometimes we get to a place where we say, yeah, I'm just going to float. No, you can't wing it and win. It's time to shift. And I am ready in my life to shift over into that new place. I'm ready to discover, who am I? I know who I used to be. I know what I'm trying to be, but who am I? And so tonight we're dealing with the identity crisis. If you see some new people coming on, you may invite them to share, because I believe once again that this is powerful. If you know of somebody, hey Leah, if it's your son, if it's your grandchildren, if it's your daughters, if it's your sister, if you know of somebody that needs to be on here, you feel like they may be going through an identity crisis, I'm telling you, we're dealing with everybody from ages 0 to 65 and up. We're dealing with the identity crisis while the real you struggles sometimes to show up. Sometimes there's a war going on. There's one side of you and that's going, and then there's another side of you saying, it's something else. It's got to be something else I need to be. So I appreciate all of you guys that are sharing, all of you guys that are telling me you're ready to shift. That's right, Felicia. It's time to shift over into something else. And so we're going to be uncovering some things tonight. We're going to be getting to some truths tonight. That's right, Pebbles. We're about to get to a place. Thank you, China. And everybody's saying, I'm ready to shift. Listen, it is time to get to a place. I'm not saying that I'm not thankful for where I used to be. Felice, thank you for joining, and I'm praying for your healing. In the name of Jesus, I pray that you be healed, that you are able to walk in wholeness, because you be holding it down in the back for me on Mic Drop Monday. So I appreciate your support and your help. Thank you so much. So everybody, I see many people that are coming on. You guys keep inviting people. Tell them that we're getting ready to shift tonight. So they got to get on here, because I need us to understand why we may be in an identity crisis. And so you won't grow until you know. That's a mic drop already. You won't grow until you know. I got to know how. I got to know why. And I got to know what. And so tonight we're taking the mask off, and we're really going to get to the root of the identity crisis. Thank you, Marcia. I appreciate you for joining. So now you guys know what I do in Mic Drop Monday. Let me first introduce myself. I see a lot of people that are new that are joining me tonight. I'm Elisa LaShell, the Empowerment Specialist. And might I just say that Elisa LaShell, the Empowerment Specialist, is now a federal registered trademark in the United States and surrounding countries. So I am so excited about that, because that means my intellectual property is now taken care of. It's secured by the government. And so I'm so grateful that I'm able to take this thing and make it serious. And so tonight, I'm Elisa LaShell, the Empowerment Specialist. And in Mic Drop Monday, there's help, there is hope, and there is healing. And so tonight, thank you, Timothy. And tonight we're dealing with our identity crisis. Tonight, I want you all to know that there's a real us that wants to show up. Thank you guys for the congratulations. I really appreciate you. There's a real us that wants to show up. My son, Airman Sanders, is in the house. Hey, boo. Thank you for being on. And so tonight, listen, you guys know, hey, Kim, my rules for Mic Drop Monday, because I need you guys. And thank you all for already putting it in the comments. You won't grow until you know. That's my mic drop tonight. You won't know. You can't grow if you don't know what's going on. And so 3 things that we do in Mic Drop Monday. If you are new, if you're new, make sure that you holler at me. And even if you're not new, say hello, because I love to know that you guys are on and interacting. But number 1, if you hear me say something and I am dropping the mic, hey, Jean, I appreciate your support so much. Hit the mic drop emoji. Go ahead and put some mics in there to let me know that, girl, you are dropping the mic tonight. Or if you don't have a mic drop emoji, you can just type the words mic drop. Let me know that I am dropping some wisdom on tonight. I'm dropping some epiphanies, giving you some clarity. The second thing I want you to do, if you hear me talking about something, because as we're dealing with this identity crisis, you better know tonight I'm going to start asking you some questions. Do you recognize yourself in this? Is this you or somebody you know? Forget the people you know. Let's look at it and figure out, is this me? But if you see yourself in this on this Mic Drop Monday, 3 words I want you to type in: I see me. Because you're saying, you know what? I see myself. I've been going through that. I see myself. I deal with that. That's exactly where I am. And listen, it frees you, because you're admitting, here's where I am. And it also helps somebody else that felt like they were the only person that was going through that. And they say, wow, I'm not alone. So I see me. Some people are putting it in the comments. And last but not least, Jackie Williams, thank you so much. And congratulations on your elevation as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. Last but not least, I'm going to throw out some things. You guys know I'm going to always give you some mic drops. Always feel free to type those into the comments, because when I tell you I got not only mics to drop tonight, I have bombs that I am dropping tonight. And so again, I believe that this is one of those conversations that we're dealing with tonight that's going to be heavy. It's going to be one of those things that's really going to open the eyes of our understanding. And so I would like, and my prayer, my hope for tonight is that the eyes of your understanding be enlightened. Hey, Aisha and Johnny and Anjanette, I'm so appreciative for you guys that are watching. Sarah, thank you so much for watching. So again, if you hear me drop the mic, drop that microphone emoji in the comments, put that in there. And if you see yourself in it, type in, I see me. Just tell the truth about it. Shame the devil. And last but not least, if you hear me say a mic drop, type in the mic drop, because it will help you as a way of affirmations. At the end of this segment, I am going to give you some affirmations that's going to shift your life. Thank you, Lakithia. At the end of this segment, every time that I come to the end, you guys know, listen, Australia is in the house watching tonight. Thank you so much. And hey, Shekinah, thank you for joining. At the end, I'm going to give you some affirmations that you can take with you that literally will shift your life, will shift the way that you think about your situation, and shift you right on out of that identity crisis. It's going to shift you right on to the next place. So I hope y'all are ready. I hope y'all have already hit that share button. Virginia is in the house with me. They say they holding me down. I appreciate that. Thank you, cuz. I appreciate you for being on. I'm so excited that all of you guys, even EJ or Eva and EJ, thank you guys for watching. Tennessee just said that they were in the house. Listen, y'all know that blesses me to know you guys are so in watching me. Hey, Simone, she calls me her empowerment mom. Thank you, daughter, for being on. So this is your first time from Australia tuning in. Thank you for putting me in Australia on tonight, dropping the mic. Prima Donna Thomas, thank you for being on. So now listen, you guys know the rule. I hope you guys are already sharing. And hey, Barbara, and I hope you all already got I don't even want you to put your seatbelts on, because we're getting ready to ride. The Bay Area, California is in the house. I appreciate y'all. Listen, I'm all on the West Coast tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Miranda's in the house. Makithia is sharing. Y'all blowing it up tonight. I appreciate Dawson, Georgia being in the house. Y'all blessing me. So we're dealing with the identity crisis. Hey, Bethany, why the real you struggles to show up. My brother Trey is in the house. Tennessee, always. I appreciate you. So let's deal with identity crisis, because we perish because of a lack of knowledge. So I just said at the beginning, my first mic drop was, you can't grow until you know. So there are some things that you have to know. Thank you, China. So the whole concept of identity crisis, it originates from a development psychologist. You guys probably know him, Eric Erickson, and he believed that the way that we form our identity, it's one of the most important things in our lives. Can I tell you that? The way that you form your identity, who you put a picture of yourself as being, is one of the most important developments that you will have in your life. And listen, he said that it's not just something that happens in your adolescence. It's something that, and we said this word already, that shifts and that grows throughout our lives. As we confront challenges and as we get in front of different experiences, we start shifting, and our identity starts shifting along with those experiences and along with those things and those crises that happen in our life. Now, when we stop and decide that we're in an identity crisis, that is a time of intense analysis, and that's a time where we explore. That's a time where we start looking and say, wait a minute, I can't grow until I know. I need to know where I am to know where I should be. Ooh, that's a good one. I need to know where I am to know where I should be. How in the world would you know how much further you have to go if you don't know where your location is? When you're in your car and you're using your GPS to get you somewhere, you need to be able to see, hey, wait a minute, how far do I need to go? Where I need the GPS to locate me where I am now so that I can know how much further do I have to go. I'm helping somebody already. And so we can't grow until we know. But we can't go until we know. How are we going to move forward until we locate ourselves? Where am I in my life right now? Because I want to stop hiding. I need to know my location. That's right. I need to know where I am right now. Let me locate myself so that I can know, am I further away from what I want to be, or am I closer to where I want to be? Where am I? And so tonight, that's what we're dealing with. And so we got to, you guys already know that my number one saying is, you can't fix what you won't face. Oh, no. You can't fix what you won't face. So tonight we're going to face it. Oh, yeah. We're going to break this thing down. And let me tell you why we're breaking down this identity crisis tonight. We're breaking this thing down to see if who we think we are is really who we may be. Oh, yeah. We're breaking this thing down. We're saying, wait a minute. I thought I was this person, but you know what? I might not even be that person. I need to locate myself. Let me GPS me and figure out where I am so that I may know where I need to be. Now, I am getting ready to break some things down, and here's what I'm so excited about. In the comments, well, it's not in the comments, but in the description of this mic drop, I introduced a brand new program that I have that's called Authentically Me. And what I found is that we can't go into our purpose. We always want to uncover our purpose, but we need to discover who we are first. Before I can uncover what I'm supposed to do, I need to discover who in the world am I. And so I have a very new 4-week program that's called Authentically Me. And my 4-week program, Authentically Me, is a journey into self-discovery. It's a journey into finding out, listen, why isn't this working for me? Why am I not able to go into my purpose? What's up with these relationships? What's up with my inability to hold on to something and to prosper in it? What's going on with that? Well, what's happening with that is it has to do with who we really are. It has to do with finally showing up as us for us. Can I help you? Sometimes what we have not learned how to do is show up for ourselves, show up as ourselves, for ourselves. And so tonight we're using our intellectual GPS. We're using our emotional GPS. We're using our spiritual GPS to locate where we are, because I can't know how much further I have to go if I don't know where I am at this point. So tonight we're dealing with that part of us that's in an identity crisis. Now, I told you guys about Erik Erikson, and I told you guys about how he defined the identity crisis. But here's what I want you to know, that there was somebody else that came along, James Marshall, to help with this whole thing about identity crisis. And what we've learned is that it's 4 statuses that we fall in. And I want you guys to hear that. And listen, if you start seeing yourself, you got to say, wait a minute, I see me, because we can't grow until we know. And so tonight, that the eyes of your understanding be enlightened, I want you guys to understand where you are, how to locate yourself so that you can get into your purpose. Now, again, you got to go in and you got to start tagging your folks. You got to start getting them in. You got to start saying, listen, I got to share this because there's somebody that needs to know. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can be 30 in an identity crisis. You can be 40 and in an identity crisis. You can be 60 and in an identity crisis, but you can't grow until you know. So tonight we're saying, I'm ready to shift. Let me locate myself. Now, there are 4 identity statuses, and I want you to find and ask yourself, which one of these am I, that we're going to deal with on the psychological side. And then I'm going to break this thing down and show you why the real you might not be showing up. We're going to do what I like to call trace the tree. And y'all know that's when we go all the way back to the beginning. In the beginning, what happened when I was a child? In the beginning, what happened when I was an adolescent? In the beginning, what might have shifted me in my teenage years? In the beginning, what happened when I was in my 20s, and what does that have to do with why I'm not able to show up as myself right now? Well, tune in, because this is Mic Drop Monday, and we're about to get into this thing. So, there are 4 identity statuses that's going to help us locate ourselves and find out who we are. Number 1, it's called identity achievement. And that's when you go through this stage of exploring different identities. Am I passive? Am I aggressive? Am I wild? Am I off the chain? Am I subservient? What am I? I'm exploring these different identities because I'm trying to kind of feel which one is me. I'm trying to really kind of feel out, like, which is this me? What's comfortable? What identifies with me? And that's when you've gone through these different identities, and then you make a decision. You commit to one. You say, you know what? That's who I am. I'm outspoken. That's who I am. I'm shy. That's who I am. This is how I deal with things. And it's called identity achievement. That's the level where we would like to be at. Identity achievement is when we've explored different parts of our personality, but we've committed to one and said, you know what? This is who I really am, and this is who I'm going to show up as. I'm helping you guys already. This is going to bring you clarity. Identity achievement. That's where we really strive to be. People with identity achievement. Hey, Michael, thank you for joining. people with identity achievement, that what happens with them, they're very high on commitment, and they're high on exploration. That means they don't mind going out there and exploring the different elements of themselves. They don't mind going out there and kind of trying to see, is this really me? No, that don't really fit me. Is this really me? And then when they find one, they say, all right, I'm good. That's who I am. So they're high. They're very, very high on commitment and exploration. That's where we all kind of want to achieve to be. But here's where our identity crisis come in. Number 2, the different identity status that we have. This is going to help you. It's called, let's see, I have 4 of them. Okay, the number 2 is called foreclosure. Foreclosure means when you have committed to being somebody without even exploring who you are. You're just saying, you know what? This is who I am. I'm not even going to explore all of this. I'm just quiet. That's who I am. I'm just shy. I'm not even exploring if I could be more assertive. I'm not even going to explore. I'm foreclosed. Just like your house is foreclosed on and they say, hey, that's the end of that, done. Foreclosure is when you just say, I'm not going to explore who I could be. I'm just going to, this one is in front of me right now. Let me go with that. Can I tell you that a lot of us end up in foreclosure because we allow circumstances to shape us. We allow the way that we were raised or the way we respond to situations. In that instance, we just decide, well, that must be who I am. I must not be aggressive. I'm just emotional. I cry easily. And we don't even explore that there might be other components of us. We just shut it down right there. Nah, that's who I am. Thank you guys for being honest about seeing yourself. And so this is going to help us figure out why we are in an identity crisis. I said number 1 is identity achievement. When we're exploring the different elements of our identity and we're trying to see which one of these fit me, and we settle, we commit to one. This is who I am. But I said number 2 is foreclosure. It's when we don't even explore. We just say, you know what? I'm going to go. That's who I am. I'm just a loud man. I'm just a fighter. And we don't even explore to see if there were other components of who we are. We just shut it down. Well, they say I'm hot tempered, so that's just who I am. That's called foreclosure. We don't even shift over to see, wait a minute, am I hot tempered, or could that have just been in the moment? Well, I'm just a caretaker. That's who I am. I just take care of folks because that's what I've always done. And then we just foreclose. We just shut ourselves out and we say, that's who I am. That's who I identify with. And we never even see, wait a minute. But what if I'm an initiator? What if I'm something else? Foreclosure is when you allow a state of being to define you. You don't even think about you only reacted like that because that was all you knew. You don't think about the fact that you only reacted like that because that was the circumstance you were in, and you allow yourself to be labeled. That is called that puts you in an identity crisis because it's called foreclosure. I'm just weak-minded. I'm double-minded. I just can't make a decision. You know what? I'm just indecisive. That's just how I've always been. Foreclosure. You take one aspect. Hey, Crystal, you take one aspect of your personality and you just shut down. You don't even give yourself an opportunity to explore who you could be, who's locked up on the inside of you. I'm talking about identity crisis tonight. That's what we're dealing with. So, the other, number 3, moratorium. That's another word, moratorium. Hey, Michael, moratorium is when you are involved, you're exploring different parts of yourself, but guess what? You don't want to make any commitment to any one of them. You're saying, I'm going to see if I'm aggressive. I'm going to see if I'm passive. I'm going to see if I'm a leader. I'm going to see if I'm more creative. I'm going to see what this is. I'm just going to explore. But guess what? You don't commit to any of them. You know what we call people like that? One day you're this person. One day you're that person. One day you're somebody else. Listen, that's a moratorium. That's when you're in an identity crisis and you're in the place where you're exploring all these different personalities of you, but you won't commit to any of them. No, I just kind of like to wing it. I'm just whoever the wind makes me be today. I'm just going to go with the wind. What? No, you're just going to sound a little bit schizo. You just, one day you see the passive side of me. One day you see the aggressive side of me. One day you see the fighter. One day you see the peacemaker. One day you see the saint. One day you see the sinner. I don't know who I'm going to show up as. No commitment, out there exploring all of these different aspects of you. And listen, but not committing to anything. moratorium. That's an identity crisis. My granny is on. Hey, granny, thank you for coming in. And so that's an identity crisis. Last but not least, the fourth kind, and then we're getting ready to shift over. The fourth kind of identity status is identity diffusion. Identity diffusion. That is a place where you're not in an identity crisis, but you're also not committing to anything either. Oh, no. You listen, you don't know who you are and you're not committed to finding out. Oh, I don't know who I am, child. And I'm not trying to find out either. This is just it. It is what it is. When you're in that place, let me help you. Identity crisis. When you're in a place where you're just saying, I'm not in a crisis. I don't really know. I don't know. Your answers to everything. Well, what do you like? I don't really know. I don't know. Well, are you going to find out? Nah. When you're saying, well, do you know, is this something that you prefer? I don't really know. Are you going to find out? Identity. And so all four of these are identity statuses. Number one, identity achievement. When you've explored different aspects of you and you've committed to being this one person. Number two is foreclosure. When you've allowed circumstances to make you shift into that one person. You don't even go and look at if you could be aggressive, if you could be passive, if you could be these other people. This is all I know. So I'm just a mama. You never even explore if you are also a professor. I'm just a truck driver. That's all. You don't even know if you could be something else. I'm just there. Whatever situation calls me to be a certain way, that's who I am, and that's that. Foreclosure. Third, moratorium is when you're out there exploring, you're out there winging it, trying to win, and you're being one person one day, and the next day you're being somebody else, but you're not committing to any of them. You're just saying, you know what? One day I'm this, and one day I'm that. Girl, I don't know who I'm going to be tomorrow. Dude, I don't know who I'm dealing with today. And you're just out there, won't commit to any of them, just out there winging it, just out there all over the place. There you go. You already said it, Nina. Thank you guys for being honest. Because all of us are not at number one. Let us just tell the truth. All of us are not at number one. There are some days when you just wake up and I don't know who I am today. I don't know if I'm going to be off the chain. I don't know if I'm going to be ready to fight. I don't know if I want to be the peacemaker. I don't know who I am. I'm just all over. I won't commit. I know the different aspects of who I am, but I'm not committing. And last but not least, identity of diffusion is when you're just saying, look, I don't know who I am and I'm not trying to find out. It's working for me so far. So it is what it is. I'm just going to be who I'm going to be. But you won't identify who that is. And you won't even go out there to explore to see who it could be. Identity crisis. And so it puts us in a place of a crisis. And so tonight I'm asking the question, why the real you are, I'm putting it out there. Here are some reasons why the real us refuses to show up. So here is the meat of what we're dealing with tonight. And now we're really about to shift and get into the nitty gritty. I told you guys that one of the things that my 4-week program Authentically Me helps is, even if you are a number one, what the program shows you is how to reinforce who you know that you are. You're saying, listen, I know I'm an achiever. I know I'm a leader, but I don't know how to apply that to my purpose. How do I get myself to the place where I'm being proactive? How do I shift myself to a place where I'm showing up, where I'm being present? Because can I tell you, you can know who you are and still not show up for you. I'm dropping the mic already. You can know exactly who you are. You can know that you are a world changer. You can know that you are able to shift circumstances. You can know that you come up with solutions. You can know that you're solution oriented. You can know that you are a mediator. You can know that you have a spirit of discernment, but you can still not show up. You can say, well, I know those things about me, but I'm not sure how to be present. I only know how to show up for other people when they need me to show up. Yeah, I'm only a problem solver when it's somebody else's problem that I need to solve. No, I'm only a fixer when I see a situation that needs to be fixed. Yeah, I'm only this when I see a situation that I need to be that person. But when it comes to showing up for me, I don't know how to do that. No, I can help everybody else be great. But when it comes to me, I just kind of, I'm going to put me on the back burner. That's why you need to get involved with this 4-week program that I have, because Authentically Me shows you how to show up. Woo, that's good. Authentically Me, my 4-week program, shows you how to show up for you as you. Thank you for scheduling a session, Simone. I appreciate that. And so the other thing that it does is if you found yourself in 2, 3, or 4, it shows you what this program, and I'm going to deal with some of it tonight, give you guys a free session tonight. It showed you how to uncover the barriers, the brokenness, all of these things that keep you in this place, that keep you covered up. Thank you. Nina said, I'm at her door tonight. All of those things that keep you from being authentically you. Oh yeah, we're getting to the nitty gritty. And one thing about this program is no program looks alike. Every time I work with you, we're customizing that program just specifically for you because we want to get to the root of this identity crisis. And so here is the meat tonight. We're getting ready to shift to the next place because I want you to show up as you for you. Can I say that one more time for the people in the back? It's time for you to show up as you for you. Yes, you're a good brother. Yes, you're a good dad. Yes, you're a good mom. Yes, you're a good sister. Yes, you are a good co-worker. Yes, you are a good all of these things when it relates to you showing up for other people. But can I tell you, you flunk when it comes to showing up as you for you. We got to tell the truth. You can't fix what you won't face. When it comes to us showing up in our authenticity, we get to a place where we say, well, you know, they can't handle the real me. Then I don't want to reveal who I really am. They really can't take that. So let me shift who I am. Let me dilute. Let me turn down the light because I don't want people thinking this. I don't want them to know how I really feel. And so we never show up as us for us. But it is time to show up as you for you. Yeah, because what happens to us, what gets us in a place of an identity crisis is that we only show up when it's for somebody else. So we only know how to be who other people need us to be. You know who we are? We're shift shapers. Did you hear what I said? A lot of us are shift shapers. That means we shift into whoever people need us to be at that time. We shift. Oh, you need a helping hand? Shift. Oh, you need somebody strong? Shift. Oh, you need somebody to handle that for you? Shift. Oh, you need somebody to stand in the gap? Shift. But then when it comes to us, hey, it's time to speak up for yourself. No, that's okay. Hey, you need to tell them you're not doing that anymore. I don't need the drama. No, it's all right. Hey, you need to tell them, no, you're not doing that again. No, you're not putting yourself in a compromising position. Well, shift shapers. We become shift shapers. There's no clear identity of who we are because every time we show up as who somebody else needs us to be and we lose our identity in the middle of it. We lose the identity of who we should be. I don't know. So no wonder we're not able to shift into our purpose because our purpose, listen to this, our perception has to be clear. We have to be defined. We have to know because our purpose is saying, wait a minute, our purpose is precise. Can I tell you that? Somebody ought to type that in the comments. My purpose is precise. That means my purpose is specifically designed for who I really am in my authenticity. And some of us are trying to shift into our purpose and our purpose is saying, I can't hold on to you. You go with the wind. I can't hold on to you because one day you somebody and the next day your purpose is saying you're a shift shaper. And so you're always shaping. You're always shifting your shape. You always 1 minute you this person and then so I can't hold on to you. And we wonder, why am I not walking into my purpose? My purpose is precise. And a lot of the reason why we're not able to walk into our platform, some of the reason why we're not able to walk into our peace and our prosperity is because our purpose is precise. And as long as we are in a place of identity crisis, we're not able to shift over into our purpose. We're shift shapers. We just keep, today I'm resilient. Today I'm strong. And our purpose is saying, all right, because it takes you to be strong. And then we say, no, today I'm weak. Child, today somebody said something and I let that get into my spirit. So that's okay. Throw the whole purpose away. Your purpose is precise. And sometimes we think that our purpose has eluded us. A lot of times we think, you know what? It must not have meant for me to be great. It must not have meant for me to walk out there and be who I was supposed to be. No, it's just that you are a shift shaper and you keep shifting. Every time your purpose is ready to present you, somebody new shows up. Oh, that's a good one. Hey, Shamitria, every time your purpose is ready to expose you and say, all right, world, here she is. All right, world, here they are. You shift. Oh, you just a shift shaper. But my purpose is precise. My purpose needs to be able to locate me. My purpose needs to be able to identify me. But if I'm somewhere in an identity crisis, my purpose doesn't know who's going to show up. Who? If I am a shift shaper, my purpose does not know, because your purpose has to have consistency, continuity, commitment. Did you hear what I said? Your purpose has to have consistency, continuity, and commitment. But if you are a shift shaper, baby, your purpose is precise. It won't hold on to you. How can it? Because before you can discover where you should be and who you should be, you got to know who you are. So a lot of times we are prematurely shifting into purpose. Woo, did you hear that? We're prematurely shifting into purpose, and then we get over into purpose and we wonder why our purpose drop us. Oh, I thought you were this. What happened? I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. My purpose is precise. And as long as I am a shift shaper, as long as I'm being a transformer, one day I'm a car, and then the next day, I don't know what I am. And then the next day I'm something else. And then the next day I'm something else. Then my purpose is saying, I need consistency, continuity, and commitment. And I just told you that one of the identity statuses that keep us in a place of crisis is when we are at all of these places where we're shifting. We're just out there exploring, winging it. Who should I be? And we're not sure. Hey, Twyla, we're just out there winging it. And our purpose is saying, who are you today? Who am I dealing with today? Because my purpose is precise. Now, we're going to trace the tree. Y'all know this is some of my favorite part. And we're going to find out what happened. What put me in an identity crisis? Because I didn't just wake up and say, I don't know who in the world I am. What happened to me? I didn't just wake up, hey, Derek, and say, what happened with me? Well, when we trace the tree, when we go back to the birth, when we go back to the childhood, when we go back to the adolescent years, when we go back to the teenage years, when we go back to those crazy 20s and those funny 30s, we start figuring out some things. And I'm going to help you identify. And if you see yourself, y'all know what to do. Let me know I see me. Because here we go. We're going to find out, where did I shift? Where was I at a place where my identity was compromised? Because for a lot of us, the reason why we're not solid on who we are is because somewhere in our lives, our identity was compromised. I just told you, it's not that your purpose has eluded you. It's not that you don't have the potential to walk in purpose. It's just that as long as you are a shift shaper, as long as you're all over the place, one day you're somebody, one day you're somebody else, one day you're somebody else, your purpose is precise. It's saying, I can't locate you, boo. I can't locate you, son. I can't present you when I don't know who you are. I don't know which side of you is going to show up today. And so tonight, what I am going to do is we're about to trace the tree. This thing about to get deep. We're about to shift. And I'm going to show you, and I want you to be able to locate yourself and say, there, right there. That's where my identity crisis started. I'm going to give you 8 stages where there was something in your life you were supposed to learn. Hey, Michelle. And I'm going to get you to a place where you can identify. Bam, right there. That's why I missed that step. Because let me tell you about the rule, Erickson's rule. He calls it psychosocial development. There is a rule in psychosocial development that says at every of these 8 stages in your life, you were supposed to learn something. You remember I told you guys in a mic drop a while ago that I said that every relationship has a lesson. And that lesson is to either put something in you or to bring something out of you. Well, in Eric's theory of psychosocial development, he says that there are 8 stages from the time we were 0 all the way till we were over 65 that we go through. And if something happened, if a crisis happened on one of these stages and we weren't able to learn the lesson that we were supposed to learn on this stage, it shifts our identity. Something about our identity is left out. Something about our identity gets misconstrued. And that's how we can be 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and find ourselves in an identity crisis. So tonight, I hope you guys that are just joining share, because it's good tonight. So tonight we're about to trace the tree, and we're about to discover. I told you at the beginning that you got to be able to locate yourself. You can't grow until you know. So you've got to find out. I need to know, when did I get put in an identity crisis? What happened? Because I see that there's an area that's underdeveloped in me, but I need to be able to identify. I got to locate that because I need some help, some hope, and some healing. And that's what we're doing tonight. Now, I'm giving you guys an overview of this. In my 4-week program, Authentically Me, I dig deep into this, and whatever area that you see that you missed it and say, wait a minute, that's where I got messed up. That's where I had a crisis. That's the stage that something happened in my life and I lost that skill set. I lost that part of my identity, and that's where I'm having an issue. That's what we're going to deal with in my 4-week program. So make sure you guys click the link after this segment is over. So now, again, we're going to deal with this psychosocial crisis, and I want you guys to listen and then identify, bam, that's me. That's where it happened. Because a lot of us, I said at the beginning that my hope for tonight is that the eyes of our understanding be enlightened so that we can understand you can't fix what you won't face. So tonight, I'm opening your eyes to some things. Number one, when we're between 0 and about 1.5, we are supposed to learn hope. And we learn hope through trust versus mistrust. Now, we know that when a child happens, we don't have any way to do anything but cry. All we do is cry. And when we cry, the expectation is somebody is going to identify our need and supply it for us. Did you hear what I said? When we are at that stage in our head, all we know how to do as children is cry and lie. We gonna lie down and we gonna cry. That's all we got right then. Between 0 and 1.5, we gonna cry or we gonna lie. We just gonna lie there or we gonna cry. And our expectation is that when we cry, somebody is able to discern, is that a cry of pain? Is that a cry of being cold? Is that a cry that your diaper needs to be changed? Is that a cry that says you're hungry? Is that a cry of stress? Is that a cry that you just need some attention? And what you're doing at that place is you're learning trust versus mistrust. That's where you start figuring out, wait a minute. This is where I learned to trust people. Trust versus mistrust. And I learned hope. I learned that there's somebody out there that understands my cry. Ooh, I just dropped the mic. Did you hear what I said? That's an important lesson that some of us miss. Somebody understands my cry at that age. The second stage is autonomy versus shame. Now, autonomy versus shame is different. Now, listen at this, because I want you to locate where you might have missed the mark or say, wait a minute, here's where my identity crisis came in. Autonomy versus shame is when you get a little older, you start becoming mobile. You start saying, woo, I'm able to do some stuff for myself. I'm able to be independent. I don't kind of need mama anymore. Some of the little things I can do by myself. Now, if your parent shut that down, if your parent said, no, you can't do that. Let me do that for you. No, you don't know how to hold your bottle by yourself. Let me do it. Hey, no, you can't wear this. Let me show you what you're supposed to wear. You can't do that. If they start shutting your autonomy down, your independence down, you start feeling doubtful and shame and doubt. You start saying, well, you know what? Maybe I don't know how to do for myself. Maybe because that's where you learn. The lesson that you learn is will. You learn your will. And sometimes we get caught up right there. We say, wait a minute. When I don't even realize that every time I get ready to do something, I'm saying, whoa, I got a little doubt. I don't know. I'm shamed because when I was young and I went out there and I tried to express my autonomy and show my independence, I was shut down, and it made me feel shame and it made me feel doubtful. Some of us as adults are in an identity crisis because still when we're getting ready to do stuff by ourselves, we're saying, you know what? I'm going to do this on my own. That feeling, we wonder, why am I getting this feeling of shame and doubt? Like I can't do it. It might be because there was a stage that we missed there. See, this is what's going to help us. Here's the third. This thing is getting deep. It's going to help us expose some things. Stage number 3 is initiative versus guilt. Initiative versus guilt. And so we know that taking the initiative means you just say, you know what, I'm not going to wait for somebody to do anything for me. I'm just going to get up there and I'm going to take the initiative to get out there. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to develop. I can lead other people. I'm going to take control. So that's that stage where you're telling your friends, come on, guys, we're going this way. Hey, y'all, come on, we're going to play like this. Hey, everybody, we're going to do this together. And that's when you start that initiative, when you start that leadership potential starts to be birthed in you. But sometimes parents inadvertently will squelch that leadership potential in children because we'll say, wait, stop. I need to protect you. Everybody might not want to be your friend. No, wait a minute. I don't want you to, that's you being too forceful. You're being bossy. Don't do that. And so now you're feeling guilty like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't have told everybody that we were going to go outside. So every time you feel like you're ready to take the leadership role, you start getting this feeling of guilt. You know what? I don't want people to see me as bossy. I don't want people to see me as a know-it-all. So that's okay. I could show them a better way to do it. I could pull everybody together and say, hey, y'all, you know what would be a good idea? Let's do this. But that feeling comes up where we start feeling guilty, like, I might not be the right person for that. I hope y'all making the connection tonight, because this is how we're getting free. So that feeling comes over us. This is what puts us into identity crisis. Thank you guys for being honest. Number 4, it's called industry versus inferiority. Industry versus inferiority. Now, in this stage, this is where you're able to read and write, and you're saying, wow, listen, I know how to learn skills and I know how to develop my skills. And so that's industry. That's learning the skills that I need. I can say my letters and I can pronounce words and I can write and all of these things. But listen, inferiority is, what if you have a disability or a learning problem that causes you not to be able to learn as quickly as other people? If you were in a place where you start, the teachers say, oh, you didn't say that right. Or if you're in a place where, you weren't able to get a certain specific skill, like maybe you weren't so athletic, or maybe it took you a little longer to say certain syllables, then all of a sudden you start feeling inferior. You start feeling like, wow, everybody else is progressing along fine, and here I am. This is that stage, industry versus inferiority. This is the place where I should be learning my letters and my numbers and my speech, and I should know how to do these things. But if you get to a place where you don't learn as quickly as other people, all of a sudden you start feeling inferior. You start feeling like, maybe I'm not as good as other people. Maybe those children are better than me because they caught it and I didn't. And so then you might have had a parent inadvertently that reinforced that notion, and they start saying, wow, listen, why aren't you getting that? What's wrong with you? See, these are things that parents will sometimes say that's damaging, and we carry those scars the rest of our life. You might have a parent that's saying, why you acting so slow? Why you not getting this? You don't see these letters? Why can't you get these numbers? Boy, what's wrong with you? That's the age where right now we find ourselves in identity crisis, because at that place in our life, that place where we should have been building up in industry, we start feeling inferior, and we start feeling, because I wasn't as quick or as smart to catch on as the other children, something's wrong with me. And so we wonder why in our adult lives sometimes, hey Nino, we wonder sometimes why we are in an identity crisis in our adult life. We're saying sometimes that inferiority complex, we'll start thinking about how our parents said, boy, you must not be smart enough. What's wrong with you? Why you can't pass that class? Everybody, your brother did it. Your sister doing good. Then we go back and we start saying, wow, inferiority, and we start comparing ourselves to other people, and that's where we start those identity crises. Well, such and such is doing good. Hey, Akina, Dr. Finch is on. Thank you so much, friend, for coming on. And we start saying, such and such is doing so good. Why aren't I doing that good? Something must be wrong with me. And so where I would be industrious, where I would go out there and take my rightful place, where I would go out there and show my skills, I start tracing the tree, and I start saying, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm good enough as the other people. And so we start backing up because we feel inferior, and it leads us into an identity crisis. The fifth stage, identity versus role confusion. Identity versus role confusion. And it usually happens in our adolescence. And at this place, this is where you get your self-identity. This is when you really, really say, I'm at the place where I understand who I am as an individual. This is how I learn what my morals are going to be. This is a major step, because this is the place where I learn what is my role that I'm going to occupy as an adult. So when we get into this place, we're saying, listen, sexually, this is where I identify with. And then as a whole, this is where I identify with. Can I tell you, a lot of times in that adolescent stage is where there's a lot of abuse, a lot of sexual abuse. And a lot of times people they go through an identity crisis later on, because in this adolescent stage, this is where abuse comes in. This is where molestation comes in. This is where rape comes in. This is where incest comes in. This is where those things that usually come in at the very, very place where adolescents are supposed to be identifying who they are, what they're supposed to be. This is where the role confusion comes, because there's a crisis that happens. Thank you guys that are being honest. There's a crisis that happens that puts us in a place where we say, now I'm confused. Now I'm confused. Am I a child or am I an adult? Am I a girl or am I a woman? Am I a boy or am I a girl? We're having an identity crisis, because in that major place where we are supposed to have our identity, this is where a lot of adolescents get role confusion. Because there's a crisis that happens there. And because as adults, we are afraid to speak on these things. We never get an outlet where we're able to share. We never trust anybody enough to reveal to them, hey, there was a place in my life in my adolescent years. There was a place where something happened to me and it shifted what I think about myself. And it shifted who I am. And so at this place, I'm in an identity crisis. And so you guys know that I told you, when you trace the tree, that's when whatever happened in our house, stay in our house, and secrets make us sick. And we wonder, who am I? What am I supposed to be? Because in that adolescent stage, something happened to us. Somebody did something to us. Something happened and it jarred our minds. And even though we went on physically, we kept growing in the natural. There's a part of us that's stuck at that age. There's a part of us that got locked into that age. Whenever that crisis happened in my life, there's a part of me emotionally that always retreats back to that age group, because I learned something about myself right there, because something happened to me at that age. And so we don't realize that when we get to that place of identity versus role confusion, most times in that big place where we're supposed to learn our identity, molestation, abuse, rape, something happened and it shifted us and we lost our identity. And we're on a quest even now to get it back. We're in a place even now where we're fighting. We're fighting emotionally. We're fighting sexually. We're fighting mentally. We're trying to say, I'm trying to get to who I am. But there's a part of me stuck at 17. But there's a part of me stuck at 12. But there's a part of me stuck at 18. That's stuck. Hey, Jazz. There's a part of me that's stuck. And we're in an identity crisis. The next stage, number 6, and I have 2 more. The next stage is intimacy versus isolation. I told y'all this is going to be deep tonight. Intimacy versus isolation. That's when we begin to learn how to share ourselves with other people. We start learning how to be open to other people. We start learning, I don't want to be in a place where I'm alone. So we learn how do I start exploring relationships, because I want people in my life. But when we avoid intimacy, when we fear commitment, when we don't want to be in relationships, can I tell you that's when we start getting isolated. We start feeling lonely. We start feeling alone. And all of a sudden we start saying, you know what? When I was younger, I was trying to be friends with these girls and they rejected me. And so now it's better for me to just isolate myself rather than open myself and be rejected. So I will rather take isolation over rejection. Am I helping you tonight? And so a lot of times when we're in an identity crisis, we'd rather stay in isolation because we don't want to risk rejection. And that takes us back to that intimacy versus isolation stage where something happened. Somebody did something. The mean girls came in. The bullies came in. Something happened where we were wanting to be accepted in the crowd. Something happened where we wanted to be brought in like everybody else. Maybe we didn't have the best clothes. Maybe we didn't have the right hairstyle. Maybe we didn't have the right dialect, and somebody rejected us. The group, they didn't want us in the in crowd. They rejected us. And so we just started saying, you know what? Isolation versus intimacy. I'd rather take isolation. I'm not going to be rejected, so I'd rather ostracize myself. And we isolate ourselves because of the fear of rejection. Identity crisis. Number 7, and we got one more, and I'm going to give you the affirmation to leave you with. Number 7, generativity versus stagnation. Generativity versus stagnation. Generativity is when you get to a place where you want to make your mark, where you're saying, listen, at this place in my life, I need to make my mark. My life needs to mean something. It's all about building a legacy. It's all about getting to a place where I'm just not here in the world, but I'm making a difference, that I have something that stands for something. I want to make, what's my legacy? What's my purpose? What am I leaving that puts my name on it? What do I have to give to the world? But if we get to a place where our purpose is not developing, when we get to a place where we feel like we're not going out there and making our mark, we start feeling stagnant. We start feeling like, what's my point of being here? I don't even know why I should try. Nobody's listening. Everything's falling apart. I'm not leaving a mark. I don't have a legacy. I'm just stagnant. And it puts us into a place of stagnation. And last but not least, ego integrity versus despair. Thank you so much, Tranisha. Ego integrity says that as we grow older, we want to slow down our productivity and enjoy our lives. We want to look around and see the fruit of our labor. We want to walk into a place of wisdom. We want to walk into a place where we're leaving a legacy of wisdom to the world. We want to get into a place where we're saying, listen, I've toiled the ground and I've invested into my children and my children's children, and look, now I can rest and I can just enjoy the world. That's that ego integrity. But if we feel like our legacy is falling apart, if we feel like our children are just all over the place, if we feel like we're not accomplished and that we worked all of our life and we didn't produce something, we get to a place of despair. We get to a place where we feel like, did our lives even matter? And so it puts us once again in an identity crisis. But as we close tonight, I told you guys I have an affirmation for you that I believe is going to help you. And it is something that I came up with yesterday as I was just kind of thinking about some things, and I was saying, sometimes we're in an identity crisis, and when we're in an identity crisis, we need an affirmation to hold on to. We need something that we can rehearse to ourselves. We need a mindset shift. When we're in a place where we're having an identity crisis, we need some kind of transformation. Well, guess what? I'm so grateful that Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so I'm going to give you something to renew your mind, give you a different way to think about some things so that you can begin to shift in your life, so that you can begin to go in another place. And here's my last mic drop before I give you this revelation, this affirmation to take with you. And this mic drop says, if you want to be different, you have to see different. Can somebody type that in the comments? If you want to be different, you have to see different. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. This is my last mic drop. If you want to be different, you have to see different, because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Whatever it is that you see, that's who you'll be. Whoever you see, that's who you'll be. And so that's why the word says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because if you want to be different, you have to see different. And so I found out something as I end this segment tonight, and I hope that it blessed you all. I hope that it brought help, hope, and healing to you as we dealt with the identity crisis. I'm leaving you with an affirmation that I came up with, and you can apply this. I'm just going to give you a couple of, it's a fill in the blank. And you can fill in the blank in whatever works for you to help you be renewed by the transformation of your mind. However you feel like this, you can fill in the blanks for this so that it can work for you. I want you to rehearse this to you. But if you want to be different, you have to see different. So I'm going to give you something, an affirmation that will help you see things different. So it goes like this. It's a fill in the blank. And it says, I reject the notion that, and you fill in the blank, and I accept the possibility that. I reject the notion that, and I accept the possibility that. So let me show you how this works. You can say, I reject the notion that my daddy didn't want me, and I accept the possibility that he just didn't learn how to parent me. Do you understand the difference? Reject and accept. I reject the notion that I'm a failure, and I accept the possibility that I wasn't properly equipped for success. If I knew what to do, I would do it better, but I didn't know. So I reject the notion that I'm a failure, and I accept the possibility that I was not properly equipped for success. Here's another one. I reject the notion that nobody wants the real me, and I accept the possibility that I haven't given them an opportunity to know the real me. Do you see the difference? Rejection and acceptance. This is us being renewed by the transforming of our mind. I reject the notion that this is as good as it gets, and I accept the possibility that there's more in store for me. I reject the notion that I'll always struggle to get by, and I accept the possibility that the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. Here's another one. I reject the notion that I'm a lost cause, and I accept the possibility that he that began a good work in me is able to complete it. One last one. I reject the notion that I'll always be last, and I accept the possibility that I'm the head only, that I'm the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. And so some things in our lives that we just took to identify ourselves, we have to go back and say, wait a minute. I got to be renewed by the transforming of my mind. So I reject certain notions, and I accept the possibility. I reject that, Tina, that's good. You're filling in the blank. I reject the notion that nothing will hold me back. I reject that. And I accept the possibility that I'm overcoming procrastination, that maybe I'm just a procrastinator. So we have to put different things. I reject the notion that I'll never be anything. And I accept the notion, the possibility that I'm just starting. I reject the notion that this is the end, and I accept the possibility that this is just the beginning. Yeah, I'll leave you all on that one. I reject the notion that this is the end, and I accept the possibility that this is just the beginning. Listen, I'm so grateful for all of you guys that joined me tonight for Mic Drop Monday, as we dealt with why the real you struggles to show up, and we dealt with this identity crisis. My prayer is that it brought you help, hope, and healing. If you are interested in signing up for my Authentically Me 4-week program, where you get a one-on-one hour session with me every week, where you get a worksheet, where you get the recorded session sent to you, emailed to you, where you get unlimited email support, then you are welcome to click the link in the subject of this Mic Drop segment and go and say, listen, let me register. I need to sign up because I saw myself in that. I figured out one of those psychosocial crises. That's where I got stuck. And so I need a little more time. I need to talk about this thing. Make sure you guys click that link. I'm so excited that you guys join me. Thank you all so much. And one more time, reverse it. You have to, rehearse this in yourself. The rejection versus acceptance. I reject the notion that this is the end, and I accept the possibility that this is just the beginning. I'm Elisa LaShell, the empowerment specialist. This has been another segment of Mic Drop Monday. I am so excited about this thing, and I cannot wait to see you guys for another segment. See you all Monday.